Hi, this is Jeff Unalp, and I'm with Unalp CPA Group, and we are an outsourcing firm. This presentation is when you should consider outsourcing, and we're going to cover what is outsourcing and the reasons you may decide to outsource if you are a CEO or an executive director of a nonprofit. So I am going to share my screen, and we're going to go through this PowerPoint. So this is being done on May 24th, 2023. What is outsourced accounting? Well, outsourced accounting is using an outsourced accounting firm like our firm, Unalp CPA, to process your internal company transactions. And that may include accounts payable, accounts receivable, general ledger entries, all the way to preparation of financial statements and a presentation of those financial statements to you on a monthly or quarterly basis. Now, this does not necessarily include fractional CFO work, which we do, which would then help you to describe ways to do better on your results and dig deeper and partner with you on how to improve your company. So those are two areas. They can be merged, but they are also separate. Most of the time, you pay for only the work you need when you hire an outsourced accounting team, and that outsourced accounting team will evaluate what work is being done and what you really need to do and what technology you need in order to do things more efficiently. How does this work? Now, I've done this for a long time. So some companies will hire a controller at a cost of excess of $150,000 a year, and an accounting clerk maybe at $50,000. So that's $200,000. Now, the controller will be doing work that they don't necessarily need to do. They're doing, accounting manager work or senior accounting work, which is at a lower rate, but these companies still bring these people in to do that work. And that does not include benefits or payroll taxes. So the work we do, we can do for less because we're using better technology, and we work with fractional workers who do like AP all day long. And so you're getting like a service center, the best of all worlds. The transactions done with better knowledge, better processes, better technology, and you'll save money and save time. So typically we can save a business 15 to 20% of what they're paying and complete it more timely. We are in the business of transforming their business, a company or a nonprofit's business processes. So when to consider outsourcing? One is your accounting team may not be making the close deadlines on a timely basis, or the information provided to your business is not relevant. Your company or nonprofit requires an audit, and you have deficiencies in your audit that the audit team points out. Your accounting team is using multiple spreadsheets, or your accounting software is outdated. Your company, nonprofit, is growing quickly where you need to track multiple variables. We call those dimensions. For instance, divisions, products, regions, locations, or many other variables the company may need to track. You are taking on new investors or will be receiving funding if you are a nonprofit and need to formalize your accounting processes, or you're losing key employees. Let's talk about the first one. And the first one is that your accounting team is missing deadlines. This happens a lot. Accounting teams sometimes don't have the people that they need or the technologies they need to close in a timely fashion. An accounting team should be able to close the books in 10 days or less, unless there's some big hurdle that they need to overcome. If it is more than 10 days into the month, then the information is not as relevant and it's not as actionable to you as a executive or a nonprofit executive director. Some smaller companies, nonprofits, are fine with longer closes because they're small and they have their hand on the pulse of the business. Another issue is every balance sheet account, your cash, your credit cards, AP, AR, should be reconciled every month. If they are not reconciled, you may not have a good picture of your business, as money may not be classified correctly. And I've seen companies where the accounting staff doesn't reconcile something for months, and they only find errors when they go through the reconciliation process. And finally, if deadlines are missed, you may miss an opportunity, if you are a for-profit, to do tax planning, which could cost you dearly. Your company requires an audit, and that should say an audit, not and audit, on the title. So sorry about that. If you have a company or a nonprofit that requires an audit due to banking or regulatory requirements, you should consider outsourcing. If you receive a management letter comment from the auditors, which include material weaknesses or areas of improvement that should be made, then you should consider outsourcing to an accounting firm that can help you implement best practices. If you know you will need an audit in 1 or 2 years, you should consider outsourcing immediately, as best practices need to be in place to avoid failing the audit, because in audits, they go back 1 year, and sometimes they have to do comparable. So they go back 2 years. So just keep that in mind. One of the signs of trouble is when your accounting team is using multiple spreadsheets. That could even be used for a budget, but typically it's used to track grants for a nonprofit or revenue recognition for a for-profit. But there are various other spreadsheets that they may use. You want one version of truth in your accounting software, and that has to be your accounting software. If your accounting team uses multiple spreadsheets, this, as I said, is a serious sign of trouble. We utilize Sage Intacct to eliminate the need for spreadsheets, because spreadsheets, as I have here at number 2, may have an incorrect formula. They may pull a version that's an old version. And I've heard of instances and seen them where they're in front of a board of directors and they have the wrong information because they pulled the wrong spreadsheet. So that's embarrassing, and you definitely want to make sure your data has one version of the truth. Your company is a nonprofit, or your company or the nonprofit that you are the executive director of is growing quickly. If you have a company or nonprofit that's growing quickly, you should consider outsourcing. There may be important variables, regions, locations, projects, products that you need to start tracking to help scale your company so you don't lose control. An outsourced accounting firm has the experience with helping companies or nonprofits grow quickly and scale quickly so that they can support the growth by bringing in better processes and more people when needed. We can also talk to you about the reports you might need and start bringing that information in so that we can report on those variables and help you. You're taking on new investors or new funding sources. If you have a company or a nonprofit that is taking on investors in the company or getting new funding, new grants for a nonprofit, you should consider outsourcing. There may be new requirements for reporting that are needed. Investors may want to see things differently. They want to have reports customized. QuickBooks, you're not really able to customize things. Sage Intacct, you are. Nonprofits may have to track grants and may need to report on them at regular intervals. Again, we use Sage Intacct to do that. QuickBooks is very difficult to do that. If this information is not available, it may prohibit further growth or further funding. And worse yet, there could be legal issues. And finally, my final point is, if you lose a key employee, if you lose a key employee like a controller or an accounting manager, you may want to at least consider outsourcing as an alternative. With an outsourcing team, everything's documented. And there's a continuation of knowledge if someone quits. For instance, we have a CFO who's leaving a company. We've been working with them. We're taking over the CFO spot because we have that continuation of knowledge. And so it's a peace of mind to an executive or to a executive director that that information is continuous. There's no harm to the operations. You can rest well knowing that your knowledge, your financial knowledge, is safe. Finally, if any of these issues that were mentioned in this presentation relates to you, please feel free to reach out for a discussion. It's important that you can rest easy knowing that you're safe and that you're not going to have an issue that will blow up in your face if you're an executive director or president of a company. You want to make sure that the information you're getting is actionable, timely, relevant, and that if you have an audit coming up, you're going to be able to get into that audit and be successful. We have a track record of companies that have come to us that had an audit. Maybe the first year it went really badly, and the second year there were no management letter comments. So we can be successful in that. So we're happy to have a discussion or dialogue to help you diagnose an issue and discuss alternatives. Please call us at 925-256-6321. This is Jeff Unalp from Unalp CPA Group, and I hope you have a good day.